Hello again. Probably didn't think you were going to hear from me because it's been so long. And boy, I am not surprised that you would think that because it has been 7 months since I made a video on the Cadillac. And the reason is because it has been 7 months since I had the car. You remember my last video was the nice cruise that I did? And I think at the end of it I said, I'm learning to trust this car again. Well, here's the story. Literally 2 minutes after I finished making that, I got home, car stalled out on me, couldn't start it again. Back to the shop it goes. All the different work that I've had put into the fuel system, the carburetor, God knows what. Long story short, it turned out it was the fuel pump. It was working, but just barely enough to get a little trickle of gas into the carb. And then we just did a whole another round of things. The bunch of stuff, I've honestly lost track of it. I also had fun pushing the car into the garage when it was stalled out. And I actually rubbed the side of the garage door and displaced this piece of chrome here, so it was sticking out 2.5 feet past the end of the car. That was a low point in the Cadillac project for me, let me tell you. But they actually finished the round of work with the fuel pump and other stuff in about late February, early March, but it was literally a blizzard that day, so I didn't even get to see the car or try it out. I just paid up and went on my way. We went to the next round of stuff, which was fairly minor, you would think, but it took so long. I can't believe how long it took. I'm very happy with the final results, but that it took 3 months to do it was just ridiculous. And here it is, which is, take a look at my steering wheel. Oh, I better back up some. Yeah, that's the same one. Believe it or not, they were able to fix that crack and also the gouges that I managed to put into it. Look at that. I can't even, and paint it, I can't even see the imperfection. There was that 1/2 inch gap there at the top of the steering wheel before. It's gone. You may have noticed something else. That's right. You're looking at an intact horn ring. Such a long story of how that happened. I didn't want to shell out $1,000 or more for a repop horn ring. I had half, found a guy in Germany who sold me another scrap half, figured they could weld it together. If you're thinking that you can weld together a 59 Cadillac horn ring, don't even try it. That's actually after I was already deep into the project. What people told me is, don't even try that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Well, it does work, but it took literally 3 months. 3 months, this horn ring was at the trim shop. And it looks great. I did not have it re-chromed. The shop actually just... it looked decent enough, I thought, the pieces, but the problem is when they're doing that sort of high-end welding where they're literally like building a structure to keep things back in place, they had to do an copper acid dip or something like that. I'm not a welder. I don't know what that means. Suffice it to say that the entire thing was dipped and did not even look like shiny metal anymore. It looked like copper or like a... They told me it looked like the Statue of Liberty after it had in need of a cleaning. So rather than take it back to those it's not so much that I didn't want to pay for a re-chroming, it's that I didn't want to take it back to those schmucks who had it for 3 months. So this is actually a painted horn ring. Maybe you're appalled at that, especially after everything I went through, but guess what? I think the final effect is it looks great. The other big thing that we did during this round was the heater. You remember the... had to get a new heater control there, and a whole bunch of stuff which I don't even remember. I've got the receipts for it. They had to rebuild the heater box, I think is what they called it, and all that crazy stuff. I don't even know why I did that. God, it was so much money to have that done, but guess what? I do have a working heater now. Oops, there we go. So the car is very low on gas, and what gas is in there has been sitting for 7 months, which that's not horrible. You know, people get these old cars that gas has been in it for years, but still, I need to get some fresh gas in this thing to really drive it. I'm concerned about even, boy, it's so low, it's below the slash. I'm concerned about even trying to do a trip around the neighborhood here. But we'll just show you real quick this. I don't know if you probably just hear that, but yes, that's right. Warm defroster air coming out. The fan actually worked okay. But so I've got a working heater and defroster in this thing now. I'm not really sure what these ventilation things do, if they actually, if that's tied into the heater system. I feel air coming out underneath, but maybe that's just me. I'm crazy. I don't know. Whatever. So we got a working heater. Downside is with the horn ring project is I really wanted to get a working horn. Boy, it sure is running great after 7 months. After all that damn work, it sure is great. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it for a drive here. Like I said, the gas is so low, I literally could conk out driving down the road. But I really want to have a working horn. That was kind of my goal, was to have a nice looking steering wheel and horn ring, but also a working horn. And long story short, is with all the welding they've had to do on this thing to build it back up and make it as a sustainable piece. They stress tested it and everything to make sure that it's strong. It's making contact with the steering wheel, and long story short, it's not going to be possible to hook up the horn wiring and all that stuff because it's already closing the circuit and the horn would just sound all the time. So they're talking about maybe rigging up an alternate horn system. I don't know. We were both at the point where it was just like we didn't want to deal with it anymore. We just said, let's stick a pin in it, not worry about the horn for a while, because my God, it's mid-June and I want to drive this car because it's been gone since winter. Downside, so I'm really happy with the work on the steering wheel. And it was actually less money than they originally estimated, so I'm pretty happy about how things turned out. Less happy about the fact that it's quite obvious that this car has been sitting outside most of the time that it was gone. Look at that ridiculous amount of oxidization on my chrome. Look at that. That was not there. I mean, here's this one thing I showed in a previous video. Look at that. That's horrible. I'm going to have a talk to them about the next time this car goes back to them that A, let's not do it for 7 months, and B, you need to park this inside because, granted, this chrome has already, had some pitting and things like that, but that looks nasty. And yeah, I know, most of that will just come right off. I can wash it and get some chrome polish. I've got some in the house, and I'm sure 98% of that will come right off, but still, it bothers the hell out of me to see the exterior of my car degraded so much while mechanical issues are being worked on. But that is why I made the choice to do the mechanical work on this car before I do paint and body. And as you may have heard from my previous video, unfortunately most of the dough I had set aside to do the body work and paint on this car went into my other car, my 69 Mustang. So probably not going to be this year. I need to be a busy little bee and work up some side jobs and make some money and have some dough to put into this car exterior. But for now, it's back. It's 7 months. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you didn't get to see any videos in that time, and I'm even more sorry that I've not been able to have the car in that time, but here she is.